Welcome to the Roundtable. I'm your host, Joe Gately, with my fellow correspondents, Mikey.
Mark.
Brian.
And Keith.
Alright, let's get into it. Let's go right to the Boston Red Sox. A strong start on the road and an excellent opening day win for the Sox, but a disappointing series with against the Baltimore Orioles. How do you guys feel about the beginning of the season for the Sox?
They're doing great.
Did they lose?
They're looking like they're gonna turn out to be one of the better teams in their division, and so I think so far it's great outlook.
Yeah, I think definitely. They've had a strong start. Who knows if it'll continue? But my guy Jackie Bradley Jr. took a little bit of a hit there. He's looking like he's going to be sent back down to the farm system.
He actually started yesterday.
Exactly.
He did.
But he's going to get sent back down. You're right. That wasn't a great call on your part at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Alright, going right to AAA. Ortiz is playing for the Pawtucket Paw Sox. He went 2 for 3 for Pawtucket last night and going throughout the lineup. But it seems that he's lost a lot of batting power. Do you think it's just revamping after the injury, or there really is something wrong with him?
I mean, he's getting up there in age, and obviously the injury is affecting him, I have no doubt. I think eventually he'll return. He'll get stronger, and he'll have a little more oomph in that bat of his. But you can see his swing is just, it's not what it used to be right now.
Who do you think for the Sox is going to have to step up with Big Poppy's power down in AAA?
Well, Middlebrooks has been hitting great power-wise. Thank you, Keith. And Salty's also got a few home runs, so.
Jared Saltalamacchia.
My bad, Jared Saltalamacchia. I'm sorry to any of our viewers who don't know him.
Speak up, Brad.
The Red Sox are tied with Baltimore for first place. Did you guys think this was going to happen after last season's giant collapse and disappointment?
No, I thought they were going to crush them.
Baltimore's a tough team for us to play. They just match up against us well. I think that if our bullpen had done better, then we would have swept them.
How do you guys feel about the Red Sox bullpen?
I think it's going to be one of the weakest parts of their arsenal this year.
There are very good contributors. They've just haven't exactly been doing great.
No star
lately.
Power. No star power.
I mean, okay.
Regardless, they're a very good team.
Thank you, Mikey.
I think they could win some big games this year. I could see them winning.
Alright. News about Fenway Park. The historic end of the sellout streak of 820 games, including the playoffs, is finally over. What do you think is the main contributor to this historic streak coming to an end?
Well, we had a bad season last year. Red Sox still have great fans. They still have higher ticket prices than most teams. I think it's coming back. It was just a momentary lapse.
Do you think people will start coming to the games more as the Red Sox continue to be in first place?
Yeah, I think there's a hype right now because they're winning. But, yeah.
And people will always be going just to check out Fenway Park. A great stadium, great time. I think regardless of how the Red Sox are doing, people will show up.
It's true. We do have some of the greatest fans in the world, but I think what's keeping some people away is the lack of star power. We have guys who are really good at their position, but they're not the big name that people are like, oh, he's coming to town, I want to see him play.
We're playing Moneyball, Joe.
We're playing Moneyball. I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. It's just people don't like to see Moneyball as much as the big names. Like, if we had acquired Josh Hamilton, maybe more people would be more interested to see him play. But
no doubt.
No doubt. Even though he's having a cruddy beginning of the season, he'd still he'd still be important to ticket prices, which is not the biggest part of the game, but it definitely helps with the team's revenue. How are you feeling about the season so far, guys?
I think we have a much better future than we did last season.
Very good observation.
Who do you think is the main contributor to the Sox success so far in the season?
I mean, we have a young team. We've had guys that have been in the farm system a long time that know how to play the kind of ball that the Red Sox want. You have Farrell here, so people like Middlebrooks and Ellsbury, people who traveled through with the Red Sox, they're going to be big time.
You brought up John Farrell. How do you like the style of the team this year versus Bobby Valentine's team of last?
Well, we don't suck this year, so better.
Well,
I
what
wouldn't say suck.
Keith? They were pretty bad last year. I would say that. It was
How many
pretty bad.
games did they lose?
A lot. Like, I don't know the exact number, but it was one of the worst years the team's ever had.
Well,
95.
it's just they had a bad season. It's not saying that they suck.
Well, if you have a bad season, it pretty much means that.
If you play
Well, if you say you
162
suck,
games,
it doesn't mean-
it's pretty indicative. 162 games.
They,
Pretty
we are.
indicative.
You would say that the Red Sox are a good team.
They are now.
Last
are-
year, they just didn't
Last
have
year,
any motivation, lack of coaching.
What about the year before?
Year before,
I don't know.
they
I
were
think
good.
I
They
think
were-
you could go as far as saying they stink, but saying they suck is like that's a little low.
Yes, thank you. That was
My
what you
bad.
said.
Poor choice of words.
Yes, poor choice indeed, Brian.
What does Farrell bring to the team that Valentine didn't bring to the team last year?
Professionalism. I mean, this guy John Farrell, I just, he represents what the Boston ball is all about.
And what is this Boston ball you speak of?
Just the style of play that Boston brings, that we've always had, the hometown feeling at the games. I know exactly what he's saying.
Okay.
Exactly.
And he knows how the Red Sox play, and he has a sense of leadership. And he's a good guy.
Especially being in the organization in years past, being the pitching coach.
Mhm.
It definitely
Yeah.
helps. He knows the organization. He knows how.
I mean, he loves the Sox. He was offered to be manager of the Indians and Blue Jays, but he wanted to stay the pitching coach at the Sox. But now he stepped into a bigger role.
Nice. All right. John Lackey is hurt. Do you think he will ever make a difference in the pitching staff, or is he done here in Boston?
I admire that he tried to come back, but no, he will not make a difference.
It's over for him. Just over.
Do you think it is a lack of heart, or it's just lack of talent?
Lack of heart.
Why
I'm
do you
pretty
say
sure
that,
he has
Keith?
a heart.
No.
He has a heart,
I
yes.
changed my mind. Lack
just
of
lacking.
lack of talent.
All right.
That was good.
Do you think these injuries are more in the mind, or do you think that it really has come down to he just doesn't want to be here and he just wants to kind of get through his salary and get out of here?
I mean, you saw him grimace when he missed through that ball. That was pretty tough. And, I mean, he worked all off season really intensely, trying to come back, and once he finally did, there's no way he's just going to throw that all away.
Exactly,
Mentally.
Brian. You're doing great.
Thanks, Keith.
Moving on to the Boston Celtics. A few games left in the season, and we play the Heat tonight, sitting Pierce and Garnett. How do you feel about the moves by the Celtics?
Thank goodness is all I have to say. Sit Pierce on that bench because you know what, he does nothing for the team. We need to give other players on the team a chance because just overall, Pierce has been doing nothing, not even contributing. I'd say it's a positive.
He's lazy.
He's
Yeah,
lazy.
Very lazy.
Why do you think he's sitting on the bench? 'Cause
I
he's
couldn't
lazy.
agree more, Mikey. This guy Jeff Green, he's proven to be clutch, and I think at this point it's time to give him the reins. In the playoffs, I'd expect to see Pierce play a little bit more out of courtesy, but
He's minus .09 in clutch time,
I mean,
as opposed to Jeff Green, who's way up there.
yeah. So I mean, that's a good point, Brian. I think we'll definitely see Jeff Green start to take over.
Speaking of Jeff Green, it seems like he's in a mini funk, missing 18 of his last 25 shots he's put up,
Yeah.
settling for perimeter shots instead of attacking the basket.
Everyone goes through their slumps. All right. He's still better.
Without Garnett and Pierce, Green will be called upon to shoulder the scoring load. Will get a chance to get himself back on track. But do you think this mini funk has anything to do with how he's going to play in the future?
I don't think, no. Everyone goes through little funks. He is the star that he is, and he'll continue to be that. I think it's hard without Garnett to
Facilitate.
get Garnett facilitating there to get his own shot and stuff like that without his left hand right now, but he'll be fine.
Garnett says that he's just trying to brush off the rust from his injury. Do you think that he really should be playing to make sure he is 100% for the playoffs, or this is a good move to sit him?
I think it's, I don't know. I'd like to see him play in the second to last game. Tonight is not really going to be a huge game because the stars aren't playing. But
I agree. You gotta sit your vets right now.
Let him rest.
Preach.
It is almost certain that the Celtics will play the Knicks in this postseason. Do you think that we can move past them and play in the next round?
Do I think the Celtics can? Yes. It's going to be tough. You know, Carmelo's on fire. And
The whole squad's on fire
yeah,
over
they're
there.
just playing like a complete team.
Burning up.
But it's definitely still up in the air. Definitely up in the air.
Definitely.
After seeing the Celtics play the Knicks earlier in the season, I really don't think that the Celtics have the defense to facilitate Carmelo Anthony and J.R. Smith. I don't know how that will affect a series that will go into at least 4 games, hoping to get more games because the Celtics, I think, will eventually win one of the games that they need to, but I'm really doubting the Celtics with the defense they've put on Carmelo and JR so far through the season.
Yeah.
That's a great point, Joe.
Alright. Moving on to the Boston Bruins. Tale of two teams. Listless play against Montreal last Saturday. 2 good wins this week, and then losing last night in another poor performance. What do you guys think about the last week the Bruins have played?
I mean, this is what fatigue does to you. It makes you play well one night, and then the next night you're really tired, and then you get angry with your performance, get a little sleep, and then you're fine again, and then the process repeats. It's a direct result of the lockout.
Along with the multiple games, Marchand is out with a mild concussion and could be out 2 more weeks. How do you think the effect of Marchand not being in the starting lineup is going to affect the Bruins?
It's going to affect them greatly, you know. He's a big leader on the team, and without him out there facilitating on the ice, you know, you got to have someone else fill the role. Who knows? Maybe someone else will fill the role, but that's up in the air.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, it's going to affect them, especially because he's a real fighter. You see him out there. This team is lacking passion right now. When he got injured, the only one that went out to go and fight the guy that hit him was Yager, and he's been on the team for less than a week, you know? I mean, it's surprising lack of passion for a team that's doing pretty well.
Right. How do you feel the Jaromir Jagr's presence on the team has helped the Bruins over the last couple weeks? Well,
It has helped them greatly. He's a big scorer on the team, and I think he's bringing a lot to the table.
he's also a great player on the power play, something the Bruins have been lacking the last couple of years.
Definitely.
He also being one of the older players in the NHL, he has the experience, and he used to be the most talented player in the league, but now he's probably one of the more smarter players in the league. So he's gonna be able to help the Bruins in the season and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right. The New England Patriots. Breaking news, Alfonso Dennard gets jail time for only 30 days after punching a
What?
policeman in the face.
What?
How do you guys feel about the shortened sentence time?
one
Policeman
for the
probably
Pats.
deserved it.
I mean, he deserved the jail sentence.
Yeah, there's no way they punched him that hard. And I think
It
It's a
that's
was
love
a,
tap.
a
That's
two
an-
for flinching type thing. I don't know, 30 days.
yeah, that's indicative of the short. He's only going to spend a month in jail, and he's already served 3 days already. So
Maybe there's
that
some
was
more
back when he was at Nebraska. and
more
he
full
originally
story
punched
to
him in the
this.
face. So great news, great news.
Are you grateful that it was only 30 days instead of the possible 6 years he could have spent in jail?
Yeah, that would have been terrible.
Give
yeah.
or take.
Yeah.
Would that have been a wasted draft pick, or do you think?
No, Joe.
I think so. I think it would take away from his playing time.
Definitely. Especially being in jail, you'd definitely be
Yeah,
out
it
of the
would be
starting
tough.
lineup for quite a
Tough
while.
for him to get out there.
Let's get a longest yard going.
News on Gronk. He might miss part of the season due to complications with infection in the plate in his arm. How will this affect the beginning of the season for the Patriots?
I mean, he's definitely a big component to the offense, but they've played without him, and they know that they can win without him, so I don't think it'll be too huge if he misses a couple games.
He is an integral part of this that offense. It showed when they had to play against the Ravens in the AFC Championship game with him being out. It definitely limited our offense. So I think that could definitely be difficult going into the beginning of the season. Pats re-sign wide receiver Julian Edelman. Do you like this move?
Sure. No.
Yes.
Well, he's also a DB. He's a very versatile player. I think he helps the team a lot.
Does he bring toughness? Yes. Is it a long-term deal? No. It's only 1 year.
Yeah, but he's had some bright and shining moments, like that game. I think it was against the Jets where he had those 3 touchdowns in the first half.
Definitely. I mean, he's a great player. I love his style. He's a true Patriot. True New Englander.
He's a fighter.
Low risk, but I would have liked to see him get 2 or 3 years.
So you do think that they will re-sign him after this 1 year? Or
I mean, if he plays well, he'll move on to greener grasses where he can catch some more footballs.
Are you saying the grass at the Patriots Stadium is not green enough
We
for
play
him?
on turf, Mark.
No, not with
Being ridiculous.
Tom Brady out there with all the weapons that Patriots have.
do you think this move was to kind of fill the void that Wes Welker's left, along with Danny Amendola not always being the most trustworthy player with all of his injuries?
No.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just because he brings that extra.
That hard-nosed
toughness.
play style, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think he'll be playing more of an outside role, or he'll assume a slot position?
Depends who the Patriots draft.
All right, the Masters. Tiger's favored to win this year, but right now is at -2, trailing Sergio Garcia and Australian Mark Leishman on the leaderboard. Within Tiger Woods is in striking distance as round 2 begins Friday at Augusta. Do you think he has enough to make it 15 major titles?
I think the big story of the Masters right now, in my opinion, is that 14-year-old Asian kid who hit 4 birdies in the first round.
It's definitely
Am I right?
It's definitely a great story. He just has to continue on with his great start, and if he plays the same way he does, he'll make it into the weekend and possibly have a chance for a run at the title.
Yeah, to answer the question that you asked, Joe, just to stick on topic, I think Tiger Woods is, he's within striking distance. I could today I could see him winning.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's back on top.
Yeah, he's got that
On top of his
he's got
game.
that stroke that only Tiger has.
Yes.
Yeah.
He hits the ball really well.
Very good.
Solid.
Moving on to the Boston Marathon taking place on Monday, one of the premier events of the running season. Have you ever been to watch, or do you just watch it on TV, or have you guys ever
I've
experienced
handed out Gatorades.
Cool.
There.
That's cool. I
I've
usually
been there.
go into Natick, and there's this place that gives away free hot dogs, hamburgers. Just
Casey's?
no.
No,
What's it
that
called?
place is.
It's
on
just
the decline.
there's. I think a company
Oh,
just
hot
sets up a
dogs, yeah.
tent, and you can just get some free food, and it's a good time. Kids are out on the green, and you can.
How do they make a profit?
They don't make a profit actually. That's the part I like.
That's the free part.
It's actually- yeah.
Capitalism.
So, Mikey, are you saying that you go to the Boston Marathon just to get free food to watch the running?
I'm saying, I'm not sure I'm going to go this year, but what I'm saying is I go to the Boston Marathon for the ambiance, the food, the people,
As a
everyone-
track star, have you ever considered running in it?
As a track star, no. I run short distance, and according to my calculations, the marathon is long distance. That's not my thing.
26 miles.
26.2.
26.2 actually.
0.2 miles.
No.
You didn't let me
No,
finish.
26.2, not just 0.2.
No, 26.2. You didn't let me finish.
Pretty sure you were finished. All right.
Wasn't.
Don't you do throwing? Tracking?
Yeah, you do.
All right. We'll be off next week, but we'll be back in 2 weeks, giving the results of the Red Sox and the marathon winner. Maybe on, we don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Thanks for watching, and see you back here in 2 weeks for updates on all the local teams.
Stay safe. Don't text and drive.
Bye.
Stay classy, don't
Stay classy.